everyone, welcome back to Rolling Solo. My name is Adam Smith and I am excited to get back to our playthrough of the 7th continent here in part number 7. If you haven't checked out any of the prior videos for this showcase, you're going to want to click on the link that shows up in the top right hand corner right now. That'll take you to the beginning of all this to give you a better idea as to how we got where we are. And you might be wondering, there's really not that much on the table. Well, that's because something major happened at the end of part number 6, and that was we found a temple and we're able to access it, and now the entire game state of the 7th continent has been reset and we are now inside this temple. And my aim in this video is to try, hopefully fingers crossed, to find a secret which will help us out. We found 3 secrets so far of 6 available for the Forbidden Sanctuary curse. I'm hoping to find one in here. Once we get to maybe that 4 to 5 mark in terms of the number of secrets, I'm going to start thinking about putting my attention towards heading to the Forbidden Sanctuary and seeing how well we can get through it. Now, if we can find all 6, that would be the best case scenario, but for the purposes of the playthrough, it might be interesting to head in with around 4 to 5, just in terms of time. So without further ado, let's go ahead and take a look at Mary's hands. You guys can remember exactly what's in there, plus some of the states she's currently dealing with. Here's a look at Mary's blue skill cards in hand. She currently has 5 available to her, and you can see she's got that bloody condition from earlier on. If we can find a way to swim or wash this off in some way, we can get rid of that condition. I'd really like to do that, as that's only going to harm us later on if we hold on to it. So Mary has entered the temple, and as you can see, there's a number of things that I could potentially interact with on the card I'm on. I could also check out that fogged area just to the north of me, but the 2 areas inside the room I'm in are completely free to do, so why don't we do both of them and see what we have on either side. We'll start with 371 on the far right. A sculpted fish head protrudes from the wall in front of you. Its menacing and foul appearance makes you feel uncomfortable. A ring is tied to a woven rope that runs through the creature's teeth and into the wall. So we can choose if we want to try and pull the ring. Instead, I'm going to explore the other thing in the room on the far left, 342. A wide, dimly lit stairway seems to lead to the surface. There is a lever in the wall, most probably to open the massive door of the temple. Okay, so you can see here that I believe this would be where we just came from, so I don't necessarily want to leave just yet. I'm also slightly hesitant to pull that handle in the fish head, as I'm sure that is going to shake things up quite drastically based on the success option shown. But I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. And that's kind of the interesting thing about 7th Continent. It's never going, I mean, it gives you information. You can see there what's going to happen if you succeed, but it still doesn't tell you the plus or minus to that whole situation. It's going to throw curveballs at you. The other thing I kind of want to do is look a little bit further north. You shall not pass. The flagstone you step on is a pressure plate that sinks an inch or 2 under your weight. Suddenly, a massive block of stone slides across and obstructs the way. Immediately after this is revealed, you may discard another visible you shall not pass card from the board. So that's quite interesting, because if we happen to go somewhere else in this and we leave this card on the board, if we find another one that says you shall not pass, then essentially you could remove the opposite one. So exploring could basically solve this path for us, or we have the option to go ahead, and these are not mandatory, but we have the option to go ahead and take a following action based on strength. We can be looking for a single success by pulling 3 cards or more if we want, and each involved character takes a 101 card, and then we discard this, we get rid of it and get to move forward. Or we can use all of a lot of strength, 7 with and it's just a straight 7 for 2 successes, and we can just discard it. We don't have to take the 101 card. So what I'm going to do, seeing as I know that a 101 card is a tired state and I don't really want to add any more states to my hand, I'm actually going to go ahead now and pull that fish head ring on the wall and see what happens. Now, in order to do this, I don't need any successes, but I need to at least pull 1 blue card. And I got lucky star. Now, we didn't need any successes in order to make this work. This is a really good card. I might actually want to discard something from my hand in order to take it in. I have a lot of -3s, but a -2 and or the ability to use the 7, that's pretty awesome. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this -3 card, I'm going to turf it into the discard in order to put this blue skill card in my hand instead. You hear a dull scraping sound which seems to come from the bowels of the building. Banish a 4/4/6 green card and then put 321 card into play. Each character places their figure onto it. And as you can see here, it states on this card first that we're returning all cards on the board card and in the past, so this whole thing's going to get wiped, and then we're going to basically be putting the 321 card on and our character back on it. Well, that was certainly interesting to say the least. We're right back where we started. That's literally all that happened by pulling that chain. The one thing that is a plus though is you'll notice that it's reset what sits up here. So even though we had that thing blocking us, it's no longer there. So interesting. It's almost like we went through a door in some weird way and popped right back into the same location we were in. Definitely want to hear your comments down below as to what's going on with that. It's a very interesting one. The other thing to note is there's not another card besides that one to pull after pulling the fish head ring. So in other words, there's no other option that I could get. If I continue to just pull that ring, I would just continue to reset things. Now, maybe that is a way to get past some of the stone walls that come up in front of me. Not too sure just yet. Not 100% sure the usefulness of that. But regardless, let's go ahead and venture forward north some more. Instead of a stone slab in front of me, now I have a spider who happened to bite me. I've had this happen to me before way back in part number 1. My hip is itching. It's uncomfortable. After examining it, you notice a nasty red spot. You must have been bitten by a spider, and you can only hope it has not laid its eggs under your skin. Okay, I don't want anything nasty happening to me like that. So let's go ahead and try and deal with this thing. I have a couple items that could help me out. As I've done in the past in this playthrough, I'm only bringing up the major item with the die on it to show you, as well as whatever attached items under it actually relate to the check I'm trying to make. So in other words, there are 2 other cards actually attached to the panpipes, but to just not muddy the waters in terms of a million cards on screen, I'm just going to bring the ones that are visible in. I'll do this for every check going forward. This is more of just an FYI on that. So I've got the panpipes item. It's got multiple things attached. One of the things I want to make use of down below is the fact I got a splint attached, so I can take advantage of these if I'd like. I can actually not have to pull any cards and guarantee 2 successes with a success and a star, and that would actually do it in terms of meeting the check. So I'll rotate that down. I don't have to pull any cards, and I got all the successes I needed. The card states, dozens of phosphorescent mushrooms in various sizes illuminate a large flagstone room. A few hairy spiders scurry away into the corners as you enter. Well, that's extremely thematic in timing, seeing as I was just bitten by a spider. All right, it appears we have some options in the next room, so how will we go ahead and pull a single card so we can move into it? So I got the card War Paint. I like this card. I could potentially attach this to my club in order to bolster up its durability. I have a walking stick. A walking stick does not have a keyword that would match with anything that I currently have in my inventory, and I'm likely not going to be trudging through too much tough terrain inside this temple. At least I hope not. So for now, I'm going to go ahead and discard this one in order to keep the War Paint card in my hand. So we made it to the next room, and we do have the availability to go ahead and take a look right here for free. So $276. The mushrooms radiate a pleasant bluish glow, and your stomach grumbles at the thought of a much needed snack. Oh, this sounds good. Characters that are poisoned may neither take nor get involved in the following action. Good. I'm not poisoned, although that's kind of scary, because what does that mean? I'm going to eat them and then become poisoned? I don't know if I like this. So right now I can go ahead and randomly take 4 cards from the discard pile and shuffle them back in the action deck. Wow, I can do this literally for free. I don't have to pull any cards. I guess there is no downside to this, and I need to do it. All right, so just so you guys are aware, behind the scenes, I went ahead and randomly chose 4 cards in the discard pile face down without looking, shuffled them into my action deck. Definitely want to take advantage of that. And as you can see, I've placed the gold card as it was instructed on the card prior right here. It states, feeling threatened, the mushrooms release thousands of spores into the room. You begin to feel dizzy. The walls and the ground slowly start spinning, and you struggle to stay on your feet. Oh, I knew there would be some kind of negative on this one. During the cost step of the move action, you must draw X additional cards, where X is the number of blue skill and red cards in the active player's hand. Oh, wow. Okay. Well, that is seriously going to cause some issues for me. All right, so before we deal with that in terms of movement, I want to take a look to the right of me. So let's check out right here. Hungry rats. I'm not liking this place. This is not going well so far. It says you hear a soft squeaking sound that gets progressively louder. In no time, dozens of crawling shapes appear and scurry in your direction. As soon as they see you, the hungry rats rush you. Now this is a mandatory action, so we have to deal with it right now. So it says I can pull 4 cards or more to get 2 successes. So knowing this, I'm going to go ahead and use my club, which also has a number of other items attached, and the one that's attached that's the most useful is the bolus. Although maybe I won't use that one because I'd be discarding it if I use the bolus, and I don't need it. I just need the club by itself to count that one, because if I use the bolus, then I have to discard that one, and I don't want to do that. So what I'll do is I'm going to bring into the equation this -3 from my hand first off. That will bring the check down to just 1 card pull, and then I'll bring my club in, and again, I'm not showing all the other cards that are attached to it, but I don't need them. This is the top card, the club card, and it will give me the 2 successes and a 7-star, which is beyond what I need anyway. I just got to go ahead and tick this down to a 2, and we have successfully done it. I just also need to pull 1 card from the top of the deck. We got ourselves leadership, and based on the fact that I've got a lot more space in my hand for blue skill cards, well, just 1, I'll definitely take that leadership card in my hand. The rat swarm scatters, leaving the dead ones littering the ground. So that club did its job, crushing those wonderful rats up. But you can see here from all that wonderful effort, I am tired. I took the 001 card, and that's going to be added to my hand, so now I'm tired and bloody. Most of the space in this room is choked by several cages, some of them containing skeletons, while some of the bones are clearly animal. There are more than a few that are obviously human. Now this is very, very interesting, and I want to move into this room, but I do have to remember the restriction from this card due to all the spores that were released from the mushrooms, and I have to take this into account when moving. So instead of it just being 1 card pull to move over, it's going to be based on how many red state cards I have in my hand, which I just added 1, which is not good. So that's 2 red state cards in hand plus 5 blue skill cards. So there is 7 on top of the 1 for moving. So that is going to be an action card pull of 8 currently. And just before I go ahead and deal with the fact I have to pull 8, I have a couple ways to mitigate that. I don't want to forget that when I got the tired card, it did have the action discard here based on a number of red state cards in my hand right now, not counting the tired card. And I only have the bloody condition as well as Mary Kingsley's character card. So that's going to be 2 cards discarded off the top of my action deck. So we now know that I need to pull a lot of cards from the action deck in order to make a basic movement. So before I do it, let's make sure we're going the way we want to go, whether it be left or right, because once we get going down that path, it will be quite problematic and also time wasting to go back through. So let's go ahead and investigate this one here to the left. A sliding panel. Along the narrow passage, you notice strange inscriptions on a wall in a language you do not understand. You are convinced that the panel must hide something. So if I want to go ahead and interact or try to decode this, I can slide the slab aside and I get a 571 and banish this card here. And if I don't pass, it says while you handle the panel, several poison darts shoot out of the wall and into your skin. Wow, that is pretty aggressive. Or I could just say forget it and discard it down below. Might be a good option. Now I have to pick and choose my battles here, and I have to be wise about this because I only have so many cards in my action deck, and they're almost about level in terms of the action deck and the discard pile. So we're almost halfway through. So I don't want to do too many things that aren't specifically related to trying to find a secret. Although, who knows, there could actually be a secret behind this sliding panel. But being that this is a card coming from one of the fogged areas, then I'm guessing it is not. I'm not 100% certain on that, but again, there's always that randomization with those cards, so they could appear really anywhere where those particular Roman numerals show up. So in this case, I think I'm going to skip past it and hope to find what I need inside the temple itself. The finely crafted vault ceiling seems to have been spared from rainwater seepage. Now this looks extremely interesting. Now when I first saw this, it almost looked like the snake that we had seen from the 450 cards that came from this clue card that we've been following all the way along, and also went through all those 450 cards to find as many secrets as we could. But again, remember, this isn't the Forbidden Sanctuary, this is just a temple. But I was hoping that there might be a connection there from the snake to whatever this is, which looks like a snake, but it has some teeth and a different set of eyes, and the drawing doesn't match exactly. So this is very interesting. I definitely want to head over here to see what's going on, but as I mentioned earlier, I've got this whole issue with the mushrooms thing. Right now, based on my current hand. If I tried to move, it'd be very costly for me to do so. So what I'm going to do is spend some time to get rid of some of the states in my hand that I can get rid of, as well as maybe use some of the blue skill cards in my hand. The first one I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to go ahead and craft this war paint. It only needs one card pulled to do so. So I'll go ahead and craft it, pull this blue card. I got one that's a -3. That's good, because that's going to help me out actually with this whole mushroom situation. Anyway, this war paint is going to combine to my club. So I'll just bring the club into the shot here. It's currently at a 2 on the die. And because there is a keyword match there of aggressiveness, and this is a 2, this is going to jump to 4. So that's going to be a nice boost for my club. It's great because I got the deadfall trap attached to the club as well as the bolus. So that's definitely going to be nice. So we'll go ahead and take those off screen now. They're all part of the same thing. But that item now is completely maxed out. Next up, I'm going to go ahead and use the last pip on my life jacket. This slot in my inventory has been going for so long because I had other cards that were able to mitigate the amount of pips that were reducing off the durability of the life jacket along the way. So finally, the life jacket, along with the rope, along with the snowshoes, and along with the raft, which was quite the combination. I really made use of that a lot. Is going to be used here to get rid of my tired state. I really want to make sure I get rid of all these red conditions out of my hand, as many of them as possible. So we're going to go ahead right now and reduce that. That means all of those cards in that inventory slot are now gone. The good news is that the life jacket gives me a star. I don't need to pull any based on this check right here. And at the very bottom, the raft gave me 2 stars. Both of them use the same icon, so this is completely valid to do. And the tired condition is now returned. Now, I thought I could get rid of a lot more cards than that out of my hand, but currently right now, there's nothing else that I can really do. I could craft the paddle, but I really don't want to do that, and it'll cost me 3 cards just to craft it, which is just not something I need to do right now. So I'm going to hold on to that. I'm going to kind of suck it up. So one thing I want to note is when I counted up the cost of moving based on this mushroom effect, it actually would have been 9, not 8, when I had the tired condition included, because I had 3 red state cards in hand, including the character card, plus I also had 5 blue skill cards, plus the 1 for the actual move here. So that gives me a total of 9, meaning when I got rid of my tired card just now, it drops it to 8. Ironically, we're right exactly where I said we were earlier. Okay, so 8 cards, that is a lot. So what can I do to try to help with that? Well, I'm going to pay a couple cards that I've been holding on to for a long time. I'm going to use these right into my hand. So these are both -3 apiece, and I am so glad I kept those in my hands. I didn't know this was ever going to occur to have a cost this high, but this is the time to use that. Now, I could wash it all away with this one if I really wanted to, which might be worth it. But then I lose out on the ability to get that 7. But you know what? If my deck is about halfway or so right now, it might be worth it. So I think what I'm going to do is spend all 3 of them to completely remove the cost of getting out of this space and heading over to the west. So Mary made it over, and I definitely want to interact in the center here. It'll cost 1 card pull, looking for 273. No successes required. Pull the card off the top. We got a curse. That's good. It's going to go right in the discard pile. I guess it's not really good, actually. It would have been nice to get a card that was... I guess it's a good time to burn a curse is a better way to say it. I didn't need any successes, but it doesn't put anything in my hand. Currently, just so you guys know what's left in my hand is the... well, I got that red state bloody condition still. My Mary Kingsley card, character card, obviously, is just sitting to the side. And I've got a leadership card and a paddle card. Those are the only 2 cards I got left in my hand, blue skill-wise. So I got room to pick up more, but didn't pan out here. Let's grab 273. Each of your steps echoes strangely. The card states, if there is one of these banner symbols, and it looks like it's that snake or dragon or whatever that thing is, card under the satchel and journal card, you may apply the following effect. Instead of revealing this, you may return it, and in place of it, take the card whose number is equal to 273 plus that amount next to the banner from the adventure deck if available. Now, I went through just now my satchel to see if I happen to have that banner, and I don't have it. The only one that I have is this one right here, and that is not the same symbol whatsoever. From the way the vaults are arranged, you realize that they are the reason for this acoustic oddity. Now I really want to check out this spot right here, 384, no cards needed to be pulled. A massive aged porculus blocks access to this part of the underground building. There is a lever set in the wall behind the porculus. You reach out for it, but it is just out of your reach, and the porculus is way too heavy to be lifted. If you had the appropriate equipment, then maybe. You guys aren't going to believe this, but you probably have already noticed that symbol right there was the symbol I had on the rope. And the rope was attached to the life jacket, and I literally just used it. Timing can be everything in the 7th continent. It seems like I have thrown away the rope at the worst possible time. It is possible, though, that I could get it back and be able to craft it again if I could get one of those remember cards back through the deck. So let's go explore around the temple some more, and maybe if we get lucky, it'll come back through another check. We'll see. Let's go ahead and explore to the north of us. You notice several holes in the walls of this corridor. Could this be some kind of trap? The only way to know for sure is to decipher the enigmatic inscriptions above some of the holes. So we can try and decipher this, and we need to pull at minimum 0, but we can pull as many more beyond that as we want to try to get 3 successes. This kind of hurts, so I'm going to have to go ahead and pull a bunch of cards. I have nothing in hand that can help me right now, so what I'm going to do, although I do have something that will allow me to discard a card with the word skill, so I do have that. I could get a 7 with a star with Mary's character ability if I need it, but I think what I'm going to do is pull 4 cards and hope that the 4 cards will give me the 3 successes I need, really hoping to not see curses. Let's see how it goes. First card off the top is a 1.5 stars. Okay, I'll take that. Next one is another 1.5 stars. That's good, but I wish I could combine the other ones. We're almost there, though. Oh yeah, easy. That is enough. Now, I said I was going to pull 4, so as normal, even though I'm pulling these cards one at a time, I've committed to the 4, as you always should. Pull all of them. And look at that, the last one was a curse anyway. I think out of all the cards I pulled, the learning from your mistakes is the best one, and it's very ironic because I just made a mistake of tossing the rope when I need it. But I'm going to go ahead and take this card as a -3. That'll help me with the action card side of things, where I don't know if I can get enough food while in this temple if things start to go sideways. So having something that would slow down the amount of action cards I burn could be really handy. I didn't get anything to help me remember a card out of my deck, sadly. The positive side to actually succeeding at this threat says you understand the warnings and leave this part of the building without setting off any traps. 003. So we gained an experience point, so now I have a total of 6 of those. Pretty happy about that. And moving right along to the card, the air is foul and musty, making each of your breaths a labor. Judging by the dozens of sacks scattered along an underground network and the many deep recesses in the walls, it seems as if you have just discovered the catacombs. I gotta say, this looks pretty wild, and you can see there's one thing we could check out in here. I'm probably gonna head up this way, and if we get what we need rope-wise or anything else with that banner, I'll come back and we'll try and deal with that gated off area. So let's go ahead and move into this space from here. It's just 1 card pull, but you can see the movement cost once we get into this space later will be 2. It's gonna get a little bit more costly. Let's go grab 1 card, cross our fingers, be good. A bow. Okay, well, a bow is a bow. That's pretty good for combat and fishing. So now I need to decide if I want to, search on this card right there, or if I want to skip past that. Now, I just got the bow, and I believe the bow, no, it can't use the rock resource. And I've noticed that when I've been in here, the only resource I've had is rock, but in the bottom right-hand corner over here, there definitely is some bone, which could be useful. But so far, it hasn't lined up with anything I want to build, so crafting hasn't really been a thing. And I think at this point, I do want to know what is there. Curiosity is going to kill me, I know that. But I'm going to go ahead and check this one out, so we'll pull another card. This is also helping me to hopefully get that remember card. We'll see how it goes. Oh, there we go, we got it. Nice, okay, sweet. So that worked out good. We can bring back the rope. Oh, that works out perfectly. Okay, so and we're not too far away from that spot either. We could just backtrack really quick. So that was awesome. Let's go ahead and grab 379 and see what happens. You examine several of the rough canvas bags, but they all contain the same thing: human skeletons of all sizes and age. Maybe there is something of value in the tombs in the wall. Ah, this is pretty cool. You can see we got the bone resource now in this location we're at. It says one of the cavities is obstructed by a stone panel. The patterns engraved on this lid suggest you that This vault may contain someone important. Oh, that sounds pretty cool. So it says here we can go ahead and do a strength check here to get 3 successes in order to go after this thing. It says here if it's too fitted, then it looks like we'd be taking a tired condition. I think it's worth it to maybe deal with this now and then maybe backtrack, use the remember card, and try to get through the gate below and kind of see how that goes. It seems we can go even deeper into this thing, but you know, I don't want to go too far in when whatever we need. If it is a secret in here, then I don't want to be too far in. I want to be able to get back out and do some hunting and make sure we can keep Mary alive, because otherwise things could get dicey. So let's keep on that train of thought. So I do need 3 successes here, which is kind of scary. In terms of cards, though, I could discard a card to give me a 7 and a star with Mary's character ability. I've definitely got one in my hand I don't really need at the moment, so that could work out. But besides that, if I want to get 3 successes, I'm probably going to have to do what I did last time and pull 4 cards and cross my fingers. I did really well last time, but that's so much energy expend too. It's the toughest thing, but I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. I can't risk not checking this. So here we go. First card off the top is a think card. We got a success and a half. The other half of the success, so that combines to make 2. There's the third. Perfect. And then we have to pull the 4 as we committed to. Another one. So we got it. No problem whatsoever. Now I can choose one of these cards to keep, and I will in a second. Right now it says to take a 421 card from the adventure deck if available. Check this out. I got myself a tribal necklace, an ancient necklace looted from a grave. During the results step of an action you are involved in, you may discard this in order to randomly draw up to 2 additional cards from the discard pile and add the successes to your total. Using this does not lower the durability of the item. Wow, that is cool. I like that one. Now, again, my action deck is getting quite low, so I think even though there was cards in there for starting a fire, and that is important, I just want to count out how many cards are left in my action deck because it's getting a little scary. Right now I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So we are definitely getting down there, so that's another reason why I'm going to grab another one of these to hopefully reduce costs later on. Now, at this point, it's pushing me over the number of blue skill cards that I could potentially hold. So I'm going to have to ditch something. And I think at this point, the paddle is probably going to be what I use, or I should say discard. So I'm going to go ahead right now and use the card from my hand. Remember, I can choose 1 card, a blue skill card in the discard pile, and add it to my hand. I'm going to go after that rope. And again, that rope is going to help me to try to get past this situation with the door. So here we go. I'll be taking this card into my hand, and then we're going to need to craft it. This is going to pan out beautifully. So I've got the rope. I want to craft it. I have nothing resource-wise to reduce that. There is no such resource around me to do that. So what I'll do instead is use one of the cards in my hand currently to reduce it completely by 3, because I have another one of those, and I actually have one more. So we're going to go ahead and just put this with a pip value or durability rating of 4 in my inventory slot. So now we have 4 slots worth of items. So I'm going to go ahead right now and grab a die, set that to 4. The next thing we're going to do is we need to actually get down to the location to use this thing. And as you can see, the cost of it is 2 just to get down there. So instead of spending anything from my deck, instead I will spend another one of these, because anytime that I don't need successes, these are good times to use these. Now I have no more left in my hand, but that just saved me a whole bunch of cards. I'm back here. And now I can go ahead and interact with this thing. So it says, if there is one of these types of cards in your inventory, which there is now, you may take the following action. So I can go ahead and do this. And I just need to pull 1 card and get a single success. It doesn't allow me to add any extra cards to this, so I want to make sure that I pass it. I don't know if there's anything I could do. Could use Mary's convert, or I could use her ability for the 7 and the star if I really need it. But we'll pull 1 card and see if we can pull this off. Oh yeah, easy. And we can actually keep this in our hand as well. That's a great card to have. So as the card stated, I'm supposed to go after 384, and then I'm supposed to add whatever number is next to that banner symbol, and on the rope it's a 10, so it would make it 394. To ensure I've grabbed the right card, you always check the bottom right hand corner, and if the number matches the card that we were just on, or not necessarily on, but in, or looking at essentially, then you know you've done the right thing. So 394 is the correct one for using the rope in combination here. And now it states you are standing before a dark maze of corridors with 2 entrances. Which one will you take? Oh wow, this is wild. Okay, so I'm gonna have to take a closer look at this, and then we'll come back. I'm also gonna zoom in on this so you guys can see it better up close. Now, I don't know if you guys noticed this or not, but there is a statue or symbol of something right in the middle of the maze that resembles that statue that we saw outside on the 7th continent, outside of this temple earlier on when we tried to interact with it. Nothing happened. Maybe there's something here that if we get it, would then be used with that, potentially. There's 2 paths here I can choose. If I go the top route, when I mark the path through trying to figure out where it would land, it appears that that one will take me out of the maze, and the one at the bottom would actually take me all the way to this thing, whatever it is in the center there. I'm more tempted to go towards that statue than I am to leave, so let's go ahead with 428. I can only pick one, and I have to go ahead and draw 1 card, so let's do that. And we got, hey, this is actually a great card. I'll add it into my hand. I don't believe I'm at my limit at this point. Nope, that puts me at 4 cards for blue skill currently. Still have room for another. You think you have identified the most passable corridor, but be careful, it is quite easy to get lost in this maze of dim and gloomy tunnels. Now this is really, really cool. It states immediately after this is revealed, take a 204 card from the adventure deck if available. And it was. It states on it, groping your way through the darkness, you suddenly walk into something that feels like a slimy and foul-smelling web. It covers you from head to toe, and then you let out a yelp of surprise when you realize that it is moving and trying to envelop you. A stringy and slimy organism is trying to devour you. You must defend yourself. Okay, so we have to fight right now. I do have the club on me, and it has the ability to get me a ton of stars. I need to get 6 in order to pass this, and I have to pull 4 cards, unfortunately. I really don't want to pull 4 cards. If I count up my action deck, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, that's way too much. I can't have that many cards disappear. I'm going to have to do something pretty drastic here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my panpipes item slot, which currently has a pip value of 1, which is not that much, has all kinds of stuff underneath of it, but I'm really only using it for one thing, and that's just to decrease the amount of cards I have to pull for this check. And it's because I have the shovel attached. And yes, I don't really want to go ahead and get rid of this, but for this particular check, I think it makes sense. So this is going to give me a -2 on this, which will bring it down to 2 cards pulled, which is a little better. And then I'm going to go ahead and take the club, and I'll do this off camera because it's actually, there's quite a bit of cards involved, but it's going to go from a 4 like it was earlier in the video down to a 3. This is going to give me the abilities, or I should say the stars on the club, which there are 2, plus the 7 star. The deadfall trap won't help me here, that's attached to it. The bolus, however, will definitely help me, but then I discard it, but it gives me massive amounts of success here. It's kind of mass overkill, so I may not want to activate that particular one. So I could, well, no, I think I'm going to need to, if I'm only pulling 2 cards. So I think I'll be doing that. That'll give me 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then a whole bunch of 7s, and I pull 2 cards, and I should be in the clear. Famous last words. Okay, so let's see how this pans out. We'll grab 2 cards from the top of the deck. There is a 7 and a success, so that's it. That's pretty much guaranteed in the bag. Yep, no problem at all. We took it down. We have the option here to take the camouflage outfit or to take this one with -3. Honestly, I'm going to keep going with those -3s. I've got to hold on to those because my energy levels are getting super low. So just for everyone's awareness, this is my current state in terms of my inventory. I've got a club attached to the deadfall trap, and then down below it, I've got the war paint. Those are all connected. This is what I majorly used just now in order to put as many successes as I did. I ticked it from 4 down to 3. Tribal necklace I just picked up is a 1, and it's sitting by itself with a keyword fetish. Rope I crafted and decided to put it in a separate slot as well, and it has a 4 durability, which is quite high with the keyword skill, and I have an empty spot, which I could fill later on. What I just used in order to help me decrease the cost by 2 ended up having me lose panpipes, shovel, splint, and fat grub all connected together had to go in order to pull that up. But again, remember, my action deck is depleting. Some of these choices are pretty aggressive, but I need to try and do everything I can to stop me from exhausting myself fully. After the success of this combat, I gained 2 experience points, so I went from 6 up to 8. Alright, so now that we've dealt with that, it states the corridor, or this corridor, leads to a medium-sized room. Put a 402 card or a 374 card into play in the space shown, unless it's already there. Each involved character then moves their figure onto it. So in this case, we're already on 374, so we're going to be moving to 402. You reach a small room that was carved directly into the rock. Here you find worn furniture, broken pots, and torn clothes, all thrown together in large jumble. Well, we found a room that we can completely go ahead and search for free, so I'm going to be doing this all over the place to find out what's going on in here. Also, just want to make mention of the fact that I've been looking for secret numbers the entire time we've been in here. Now, I haven't seen any just yet, but I'm going to comb back over the last 3 cards right now to see if anything pops out. What a mess! Broken tables, chairs, vases, and antiques are scattered across the ground. And the one we're interacting with right now, if you're not familiar, 359. Let's go ahead and flip this over and see what we found. Wait. This is good. This is very, very good. It says you wonder who or what ransacked this place, and above all, what they were looking for. Down below, I see a symbol that I know is sitting on the clue card for the Forbidden Sanctuary, right here with a 12. So if we go ahead and do this action, we get to add 12 to the 360 at the bottom. We'd be able to pull 372, and I'm crossing my fingers this is going to be one of the secrets that we need. All right, so we're definitely going to interact with this thing. We need 1 success, and I think I'm just going to pull a single card and hope I get what I need. It's a little bit terrifying. I do have a card in my hand that allows me to get 2 successes guaranteed without having to pull anything. So I could do that if I wanted to hold on to action cards. Now remember, my action deck is getting crazy low. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I got 8 cards total. That was a really bad count, but it is 8. Yikes. I've never been that close, I don't think. I think the last time we rested up, we were a little bit better off. But still, this is getting tight. This is getting a situation where it's like, I hope this panned out to be a good thing for me, or I'm going to be in trouble. So what we're going to do is we are going to... Oh, the question really becomes, do I want to burn that card in my hand? Because I don't have to pull any cards in this check. I think I should in order to stop pulling cards from my deck. So let's do it. I'm going to use this to give myself 2 successes. I also get a 101 card, which would be tired. Oh yeah, that's bad. That's bad too, though. I was thinking that might have been an experience, but I remember that's a tired condition. Maybe I don't do that. Let's pull 1 card off the top of the deck and cross our fingers. Here we go. No! Okay, so we got a 7, but remember, I have an ability with Mary where I can, if I discard 1 keyword, the skill from my hand, hopefully I have one. I have 2. Oh no, one of them, so I have 2 cards that have the keyword skill. Both of them are great cards. It's either one of these. It's either, and I like them both. The one that reduces how much cost, I have to hold on to that one. So it looks like this one's gonna be the one to go. I was kind of hoping to keep that for if I get a chance to hunt in the near future, which I really need to do. So we'll ditch that. That will convert this 7, or it gives me a 7 and a star, which converts that 7 to a success. So we're good to go. And I'll definitely go ahead and take this card as well and place it in my hand, because at this point I have, the max of 5. And we're going to go ahead 360 plus this is giving us 372. Let's find out what we had or have. You find an old dust-covered parchment. After blowing the dust off, you quickly examine it. Yeah, this is sounding really good. Yes, we got it. We got it. That's awesome. Oh, I'm so glad that I didn't go deeper into that temple. That could have cost me everything. Now, it doesn't mean I'm guaranteed to be safe or okay here. I am still right at the end of my rope, so this is going to be very stressful trying to get myself some food quickly, but I did find a Secret of the Sanctuary 5 of 6. We'll give you guys a nice, good zoomed in view of this. You can actually read it yourselves. The parchment itself states, Room V, definitely do not choose the... Well, that doesn't help. Of You cannot. Wrong. The corrected one, or the correct one, sorry. Most represented symbol on the floor of the rooms of the Forbidden Sanctuary. Interesting. So this does still have symbols like the other ones did. My other Secret of the Sanctuary cards, like this one here, has a very similar type of symbol as well. And I know that's a little bit off camera, so that probably doesn't help, but we'll go like this. And we've got another one here that looks very much like those ones. So it seems to be pointing to the one that we see the most. But the other thing too is all these are broken sentences. So one of the things I want to do is I'm going to, at some point, I'm going to take this clue card and I'm going to take the original statement that was here, which had all kinds of broken pieces of the sentences, and I'm going to try to jam this wording in between each of these things to try to create, hopefully, a somewhat finished a couple paragraphs or whatever is being written here to make sense of it. Now I've got 4 of the 6, so I won't be able to pull out the whole thing, but I'm hoping that these things will fit together in some way that is actually readable. Now it is risky to stick it out here, but I want to still check out what's in this room. We already looked at 359. Let's go ahead and look at 422. The ground is covered with mostly broken containers. Curious, you pick them up and sniff at their remains. After finding nothing worthwhile in most of them, you discover a jar containing a liquid that smells of garlic. Immediately after this is revealed, one involved character may choose one card with the keyword vigilance in the discard pile and add it to their hand. Well, if that's the case, I'm definitely going to take this remember card because this is the card that allows me to grab anything I want later on. So this is probably the best choice I can go for. The other thing I could have gone for was a fire making kit, because if we do or are able to hunt at some point really soon, I get the most bang for buck. But still, having this remember card will give me tons of options. I have to discard something from my hand currently, so I'm going to go ahead and get rid of this Knowledge is Power card I just got. I don't want to be spending any actions at this point to be trying to get any XP. And when I said actions, I actually meant energy. Next, we're going to check out 282 right here. There are makeshift beds of wooden boards and woven fibers on either side of the room. One of them is in obviously better condition than the other. With a little bit of effort, you should be able to make the bed operational. So we could choose to rest right now. And if you guys are familiar with the 000 card of the green numlock, that means that we would be able to spend our experience that we have to get more cards. Now, the downside is I'd be spending a little bit of effort to do that, one, at the very bare minimum, which is exactly what I'd spend, but the downside is I only have 7 cards left in my action deck, and every card at this point now counts. So as much as I want to go ahead and spend the experience points I've gained, I need to not do that, because I'm going to put myself into a situation where I could potentially end up dying, and I probably already have. So I've really cut it close here. So let's see if we can get out of here rather than focusing on trying to take a rest. So what we're going to do is we're going to move out of the room we're currently in. As you can see, there's no move requirement to leave this room. So I'm strictly just going to move back through the hallway from where we came. That's nice. Now what we can do, because nothing's blocking our movement, is we can do a speed run to get the heck out of here, hopefully. All right, so now we're going to have Mary move from where she's currently at for a cost of 1. She's going to move all the way through here to the major entrance. The card pulled was another remember card. That is huge. I'm definitely going to take that in my hand. I'm going to ditch the leadership card. I have absolutely no use for this right now. I'm not in a tired or frightened state, so this is going to go to the discard pile, and I'm happily going to take this remember card because I've got some big time plans on how I can make myself a little more effective once I get out of here. My hope is, I'm just letting you guys know this in advance, that I could remember back my walking stick so I can make sure my movement becomes cheaper once I get out of this temple. And also I need to be able to, well, I just want to have another remember card so I can actually get what I need to create a fire or get what I need to do anything. Whatever the situation may be, it'll be good. That's really my only goal at this point, is reducing cost of actions for energy at least. So after taking a free explore action right here in this room I'm in, 342 states, there is a lever in the wall, most probably to open the massive door of the temple. So I can go ahead right now for free and just open up the door, which I'm going to do. The door rumbles and grinds as it opens. Return all the cards on the board and in the past. Put a 143 card into play, and then each player places their figure onto it. And just like that, Mary emerges from the temple successful with a new secret, 4 of 6 of them now in her collection. Hopefully trying to find the other ones, but there is another objective at this point in time, and that is to find something to replenish her energy, or she is going to be in big time trouble. And that is where we're going to end off part number 7. Join me in the next episode when things get really stressful as we try to see whether Mary can actually replenish her deck and continue her journey, or whether she's going to meet her end. Thank you guys so much for watching, and as always, keep on rolling solo.